huge Great Pyramids in Antarctica. They jut out of the ice and snow, and they look perfect, just like those in Egypt.
What if Antarctica is hiding a huge secret, an ancient structure buried under the ice for thousands of years? Recent satellite images have got people talking, showing strange, pyramid-like shapes hidden beneath Antarctica's ice. Could this be proof that a civilization once thrived in this frozen land, long before it was covered in ice? Some even believe it could be linked to the legendary Atlantis. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, there are hidden mountains, ancient lakes, and signs of life from a time when Antarctica was a very different place.
I want to talk about Antarctica. They are clearly protecting or preserving something that may or may not be under 3 miles of ice.
There's undoubtedly a time when Antarctica was lush and green.
As we explore more, the discoveries just get stranger. So, what more secrets could Antarctica be hiding? Number 1. Pyramids found under Antarctica. Imagine looking at satellite images of Antarctica and suddenly spotting something strange. Pyramid-like structures rising up from the ice. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but these claims are based on real satellite photos. These mysterious formations have caught the attention of both conspiracy theorists and scientists, leaving everyone wondering, could these be the remains of an ancient civilization that once lived on the continent before it froze over? The satellite images seem to show pyramid-shaped structures in the Antarctic mountains. From above, these formations look surprisingly similar to man-made pyramids, which has led to all kinds of theories about ancient civilizations thriving in this now icy and deserted place. But before getting carried away, experts suggest these formations are probably just natural peaks, shaped by millions of years of erosion and glaciation. Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Number 2. The lost civilization. What if those pyramid-like structures found in Antarctica point to something even bigger? A hidden civilization buried under the ice. The idea of a lost civilization in Antarctica has been around for years, with some even connecting it to the legendary city of Atlantis. Could it be that an ancient city, like the one described by Plato, once existed in this frozen land, thriving before a massive climate change turned it into the icy continent we know today? One of the most interesting pieces of evidence comes from the Piri-Reis map, an ancient map from 1513. Some people believe this map shows the coastline of Antarctica without any ice covering it. But how could ancient civilizations have known what Antarctica looked like long before modern explorers discovered it? Conspiracy theorists and alternative historians have suggested that satellite images reveal what could be remnants of ancient cities hidden beneath the ice. Strange shapes and what appear to be artificial structures have fueled these ideas. Could these be signs of an advanced civilization that was wiped out by some huge disaster? Number 3. The Gamburtsev Mountains. Hidden beneath the thick ice of Antarctica lies one of the most mysterious mountain ranges on Earth, the Gamburtsev Mountains. These mountains, which stretch 750 miles, were discovered during the International Geophysical Year in 1957 to 1958. What makes them so fascinating is that they are completely buried under miles of ice, making them one of the least understood mountain ranges in the world. Soviet scientists first found the mountains using seismic technology. Their data revealed that these hidden mountains have sharp peaks and deep valleys, much like the Alps in Europe. However, unlike the Alps, the Gamburtsev Mountains are buried under ice that can be as thick as 15,700 feet. The big question is, how did such a massive mountain range form and then get covered by so much ice? And why do their peaks resemble mountains found in much warmer places? These questions have puzzled scientists for decades. Some think the mountains may have formed during ancient geological events, while others wonder if there's an even deeper mystery behind their creation. Number 4. Lake Vostok. Hidden beneath nearly 2.5 miles of solid ice is Lake Vostok, a massive body of water that has been isolated from the outside world for millions of years. This subglacial lake, which is the largest of its kind in Antarctica, was discovered in the 1990s using radar and satellite imaging. Since then, it has fascinated scientists. Could this untouched lake hold secrets from Earth's ancient past? For years, researchers noticed strange anomalies in the ice, but it wasn't until the development of ice-penetrating radar that they realized what was hidden underneath. Interestingly, the Soviet Union's Vostok Station, which was established in 1957, had been sitting unknowingly right above this enormous lake. Lake Vostok is 155 miles long and 31 miles wide, making it similar in size to Lake Ontario in North America. What's even more surprising is that despite being trapped under such a thick ice sheet, the water in Lake Vostok is still liquid. This is due to a combination of geothermal heat from the Earth's core and the immense pressure from the ice above, which prevents the lake from freezing solid. Adding to the mystery, scientists have found signs of microbial life in ice cores taken from the layers above the lake. Number 5. Mars meteorites found under ice. In 1984, scientists made an incredible discovery in the Allen Hills region of Antarctica. They found a small rock weighing just 2 kilograms, later named ALH 84001. At first glance, it seemed like just another meteorite, but this one was special. It came from Mars. This meteorite would become one of the most important discoveries in space exploration history. The Allen Hills is known for being full of meteorites, but ALH 84001 was different. After years of careful study, scientists concluded that this rock was a fragment of Mars, knocked off the planet by a huge impact around 17 million years ago. From there, it drifted through space until it finally landed on Earth, frozen in Antarctica. What's even more amazing is that this piece of Mars is about 4.091 billion years old, making it one of the oldest Martian rocks ever found on Earth. Number 6. Icefish colony. In 2021, scientists exploring the icy waters of Antarctica's Weddell Sea made a shocking discovery. Beneath the freezing surface, they found a massive colony of icefish, about 60 million nests, spread across 293 square miles. This was the largest icefish colony ever recorded, and it left researchers in shock. Each nest, located about 1,640 feet underwater, was home to a single icefish and contained between 1,500 to 2,500 eggs. The nests were closely packed, only 25 centimeters apart, creating a vast and interconnected underwater community. This large-scale nesting behavior had never been seen in any other fish species, making it one of the most remarkable underwater discoveries ever. Icefish are truly unique. Known as white-blooded fish, they don't have hemoglobin, which makes their blood almost clear. This adaptation allows them to survive in the icy waters of Antarctica. Their larger hearts and wide blood vessels help them pump oxygen through their bodies, making them well-suited to life in a frozen, oxygen-rich environment where few other animals can live. Number 7. Antarctic toothfish. The Antarctic toothfish, sometimes called the cod of the Antarctic, is one of the most amazing creatures living in the icy waters around Antarctica. This large, tough fish can grow up to 6.5 feet long and can weigh more than 220 pounds. It also lives a long life, sometimes over 40 years, and plays a key role in the food chain of the Southern Ocean. What makes the Antarctic toothfish so interesting is its ability to survive in freezing temperatures. It has special proteins in its blood that act like antifreeze, allowing it to live in waters as cold as -2 degrees Celsius without freezing. These incredible adaptations make the toothfish an important predator in one of the toughest environments on Earth. However, because of its slow growth and long lifespan, the toothfish is vulnerable to overfishing. It's highly sought after, especially in restaurants, where it's often sold under the name Chilean sea bass. This adds pressure on the population, as the species doesn't reproduce quickly. Number 8. Antarctica's Mount Erebus. Mount Erebus is the southernmost active volcano on the planet, standing tall at 12,448 feet on Ross Island in Antarctica. What makes it so unique is its constant activity, with a lava lake that has been bubbling in its crater for decades, possibly even centuries. This volcano, part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, is fascinating not just because of its size, but because of where it's located, far away from other major volcanic zones. The lava lake in Mount Erebus is like a window into the Earth's core. The molten rock constantly churns in a striking contrast to the icy surroundings of Antarctica. Magma from deep inside the Earth's mantle feeds this ongoing volcanic activity, making Erebus one of the most unusual volcanoes in the world. While it doesn't erupt violently like some volcanoes, Mount Erebus can still be dangerous due to its remote location and the extreme environment of Antarctica. Scientists are still trying to fully understand its geological origins, as it doesn't follow the usual patterns of other volcanoes in the Pacific region. Number 9. Ancient rainforest. In 2020, scientists made a discovery that blew everyone's minds: evidence of an ancient rainforest that once thrived in Antarctica around 90 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. Just imagine, this icy, barren place we know today was once alive, with plants, trees, and all kinds of life. This discovery came about when researchers drilled core samples from the seabed near Pine Island and the Thwaites Glacier in West Antarctica. They were stunned to find fossilized roots, pollen, and spores from plants that resemble those found in modern rainforests. This means that Antarctica was once warm, lush, and covered in dense vegetation. The fossils they found showed that a temperate rainforest full of trees and ferns existed there. Well-preserved root systems and pollen grains proved that large plants like trees once dominated this area, and spores from ferns and flowering plants painted a picture of a vibrant ecosystem. Number 10. Antarctica heat waves. Antarctica, known as the coldest place on Earth, is now facing something completely unexpected: heat waves. When most people think of heat waves, they picture tropical areas. But now even this frozen continent is experiencing temperatures far higher than normal. This is a huge cause for concern for scientists, as it shows just how fast climate change is affecting even the most remote places on the planet. In Antarctica, a heat wave doesn't mean warm, sunny days like in other parts of the world. It means the temperature is much higher than usual, sometimes by over 20 degrees Celsius. Normally, temperatures here stay around -60 degrees Celsius in the middle of the continent and about -10 degrees Celsius along the coasts. But these heat waves are breaking all the rules. One of the most shocking moments happened in February 2020, when the temperature at Esperanza Base, located on the northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula, hit a record 18.3 degrees Celsius. The main reason for these heat waves is global warming. As more heat gets trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, even the coldest places on the planet are feeling the effects. And this isn't just a small issue. When these heat waves happen, they cause the ice in Antarctica to melt quickly. Since about 70% of the world's fresh water is stored in Antarctica's ice, this melting contributes to rising sea levels, which is a big problem for people all around the world. Number 11. Dinosaur fossils discovered in Antarctica. Imagine a time when Antarctica wasn't the icy wasteland we know today, but a warm, green land full of dinosaurs. That might sound unbelievable, but paleontologists have found proof that dinosaurs once roamed this frozen continent. Beneath the ice, they've uncovered fossils that tell a story of an ancient time when Antarctica had a much warmer climate. The first major dinosaur fossil discovery in Antarctica was made in 1986 on James Ross Island. Since then, many other fossils have been found, showing that the continent was once part of the supercontinent Gondwana. One of the most exciting discoveries was made in 1991 on Mount Kirkpatrick, where the remains of a large meat-eating dinosaur named Cryolophosaurus were uncovered. This dinosaur, also known as the frozen crested lizard, lived about 190 million years ago and could grow up to 21 feet long. Number 12. Crystal City beneath the ice. For years, people have been fascinated by the idea of a hidden crystal city beneath Antarctica's ice. According to myths and theories, this mysterious city could be an ancient civilization or even an alien base buried under the continent. While it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, the legend of this city has captured imaginations for decades. The idea of a hidden world beneath Antarctica started with the hollow Earth theory, which suggested that there are massive underground worlds inside our planet, possibly accessible through the poles. In the mid-20th century, as UFO sightings and conspiracy theories became popular, the idea of a hidden city in Antarctica gained new life. Some people even speculated that extraterrestrial beings had set up bases beneath the ice, or that secret government projects were covering up evidence of ancient civilizations. In more recent years, these myths have mixed with other stories, like the rumor of Nazi bases in Antarctica during World War II, or claims that the continent once had an advanced society before it froze over. However, despite all these wild ideas, there's no scientific proof that such a city exists. Number 13. The legendary Endurance shipwreck. The story of the Endurance shipwreck is one of the most incredible survival tales in history. Back in 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton led an expedition to cross Antarctica. But things went wrong when their ship, the Endurance, got stuck in thick ice in the Weddell Sea. As the ice slowly crushed the ship, Shackleton and his crew had no choice but to abandon it in 1915. With no way out, they drifted on ice floes for months until they finally reached a place called Elephant Island. In a desperate move, Shackleton and 5 of his men made an 800-mile journey in a small lifeboat to South Georgia Island to get help. Against all odds, every single member of the crew survived, despite the ship sinking and the brutal conditions of Antarctica. Fast forward to March 5, 2022, over 100 years later, the Endurance was finally found, resting 3,008 meters deep in the ocean. The freezing waters had kept the ship in amazingly good condition. Using high-tech cameras and sonar on an underwater robot, researchers discovered the Endurance just 4 miles from where it was last seen. This incredible find brought an end to one of Antarctica's biggest mysteries and showed how Shackleton's legacy and modern technology could work together to solve history's puzzles. Number 14. World War II. Submarines discovered. During World War II, Japan used small submarines, known as midget subs, in a secretive mission as part of the Pearl Harbor attack on December 7, 1941. These tiny 1- and 2-man submarines were designed to sneak past the naval defenses and cause chaos. While most people focused on the planes that attacked Pearl Harbor, these submarines played a big role in Japan's plan. In the years since the war, underwater explorers near Hawaii have found several of these submarines, helping us understand more about what happened during that historic day. Using modern technology, like remotely operated vehicles or ROVs and autonomous underwater vehicles or AUVs, researchers have been able to explore the ocean's depths more thoroughly than ever before. Number 15. The Submerged Temple Complex of Bali. Off the northeastern coast of Bali, near a village called Tulamben, there's a fascinating secret hiding under the sea. The remains of an ancient temple complex from around the 11th or 12th century. Local fishermen first stumbled upon it in the 1960s, but it wasn't until the 1970s that people started to explore the site. It's believed that this temple was once part of a bustling Balinese settlement, but over time, volcanic eruptions or rising sea levels caused it to sink beneath the ocean. Spanning about 500 square meters, the underwater temple is filled with beautifully carved stone statues and mythical figures that showcase the detailed artistry typical of ancient Balinese temples. These include representations of deities, animals, and legendary creatures, all perfectly preserved in their watery home. Number 16. The Lost Ancient City of Thonis Herakleion. Deep under the Mediterranean Sea, just off the coast of Egypt, lies one of the most incredible discoveries in recent history, the ancient city of Thonis Herakleion. Once a bustling metropolis and an important trade center, this city played a key role in connecting Egypt to the rest of the Mediterranean. It was located in the Nile Delta and was known for its importance in trade and religious activities. Ancient historians like Herodotus and Strabo even wrote about how crucial the city was in their time. Dedicated to the god Amun, Thonis Herakleion was not only a trade hub, but also a significant place for religious ceremonies, especially involving the Egyptians and Greeks. For centuries, this city was lost until 2000, when French underwater archaeologist Franck Gaudiot and his team, working with the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities, uncovered its remains. Using advanced technology, they were able to find the city and begin revealing its secrets. Number 17. Massive underwater sinkholes. The Great Barrier Reef, stretching over 2,300 kilometers off the coast of Queensland, Australia, is world famous for its colorful coral reefs. But it also hides something just as fascinating: huge underwater sinkholes known as blue holes. These are deep, vertical holes in the seabed that give us a glimpse into the reef's past and its environmental changes. Blue holes form through natural processes like erosion, where rock slowly wears away, creating these deep, round formations. In the Great Barrier Reef, these sinkholes are made up of limestone and coral, which are especially vulnerable to both natural forces and human impact. By studying these blue holes, scientists learn more about how the reef was formed and the challenges it faces today, from things like climate change and pollution. Number 18. Bimini Road, Bahamas. Just off the western coast of North Bimini Island. In the Bahamas, there's an underwater formation that has puzzled people for decades. It's called Bimini Road. Discovered in 1968 by a team of divers led by amateur archaeologist L.D. Buck Nelson, this mysterious structure continues to fuel curiosity. Bimini Road is made up of large, rectangular, and polygonal stone blocks that are laid out in parallel rows. It stretches for about 800 meters along the ocean floor, and the stone's neat arrangement has sparked all kinds of debates about where they came from. Some believe these stones could be the remains of an ancient lost civilization, while others think it's simply a natural geological formation. Number 19. Port Royal. Port Royal, sitting on the southeastern coast of Jamaica, is a place with a wild history. Back in the 17th century, it was known as the wickedest city on earth. It was a bustling port full of merchants, privateers, and pirates, and it became one of the most important trade centers in the Caribbean. With its perfect location at the entrance to Kingston Harbor, Port Royal attracted all kinds of people looking to make or take a fortune. But on June 7th, 1692, disaster struck. A massive earthquake, estimated to be between 6.5 and 7.0 on the Richter scale, rocked the city. The ground shook so hard that a large part of Port Royal slid into the sea. A tsunami followed, making things even worse and wiping out buildings and lives. For over 200 years, the remains of this once thriving city were buried underwater in Kingston Harbor. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Jamaican archaeologist Dr. Robert Marks and his team began to search for the lost city. Their dives uncovered sunken buildings, artifacts, and even human remains, giving us a look at what life was like in Port Royal before the disaster. Today, Port Royal is an important underwater archaeological site, offering a fascinating glimpse into a city that once thrived and then disappeared in a moment of catastrophe. Number 20. Nazca Lines, underwater, Peru. The Nazca Lines in southern Peru have long been one of the world's great mysteries. These huge, ancient drawings of animals, plants, and shapes stretch across the desert floor and can only really be appreciated from the air. But recently, researchers have found something even more intriguing: similar patterns underwater, off the coast of Peru. This discovery came thanks to advancements in marine archaeology. In the early 2000s, divers and ocean researchers working in Peru's coastal waters began to notice strange formations on the seafloor. These shapes included lines, spirals, and circles, looking a lot like the famous Nazca Lines. The big question is, how did these patterns get there? And were they made by humans or some natural process? Number 21. Coral Gardens, Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands, a group of islands in the South Pacific, are known for their beautiful landscapes and rich wildlife. Just off the coast of Guadalcanal, the largest island, lies an amazing underwater treasure called Coral Gardens. This place has caught the attention of marine scientists and conservationists from all over the world. Coral Gardens started gaining international fame in the early 2000s when local divers and researchers found out how special it was. The reef here is home to a wide range of coral species, both hard and soft corals, which create the structure of the reef. But it's not just the corals that make this place so incredible. The reef is packed with marine life, from colorful fish that live in the reefs to larger predatory fish and countless other sea creatures. The discovery of Coral Gardens showed just how important this area is for marine life, and it's become a key focus in efforts to protect the environment. Number 22. Oil-eating bacteria beneath the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the ocean, and it holds some of the world's most mysterious and unexplored ecosystems. Recently, scientists made an incredible discovery in this deep, dark place: bacteria that can eat oil. This discovery came from research that aimed to understand how life can survive in extreme environments and what benefits it might offer. During expeditions, scientists collected samples of sediment and water from different depths of the trench. What they found was a brand new group of bacteria that can break down hydrocarbons, the same compounds found in oil. These bacteria eat oil, which means they could be used to help clean up oil spills and other environmental disasters. Number 23. Pavlopetri, Greece. Off the southeastern coast of Greece lies one of the most fascinating underwater archaeological sites in the world, Pavlopetri. This ancient city, now submerged beneath the sea, was first discovered in the early 1960s by Greek marine archaeologist Dr. Spiridon Marinatos. However, it wasn't until the late 1970s and early 2000s that researchers began to uncover its secrets. Local fishermen and divers had noticed ancient artifacts in the area, which led Dr. Marinatos to begin exploring the site. Using advanced technology like sonar, Greek archaeologists, along with the British school at Athens, were able to study the site in great detail. What's remarkable about Pavlopetri is how well preserved the city is. The streets, homes, and public spaces are all still visible, laid out in a grid pattern similar to modern cities. Archaeologists have found pottery, tools, and inscriptions that help us understand what daily life was like for the people who lived there. This ancient city gives us a rare glimpse into early urban life in the Mediterranean and shows how advanced their city planning and architecture were. Number 24. Swedish warship Mar. One of the biggest discoveries in underwater archaeology is the Swedish warship Mars, which sank in the late 1500s. Sometimes called the Swedish Titanic because of its size and tragic sinking, Mars was built to be one of the largest and most powerful ships of its time. It was part of the Swedish Navy under King Charles IX and was launched in 1564. However, Mars met a tragic fate during the Battle of Öland on May 30th, 1564, when it exploded and sank, dealing a major blow to the Swedish Navy. For years, people searched for the wreck, and in 2011, a team of Swedish and international researchers finally found it near the island of Öland. The remains of the ship were surprisingly well preserved. When the archaeologists began their excavations, they uncovered cannons, ship equipment, and even the personal belongings of the crew. Number 25. The St. Peter's Basilica Complex. St. Peter's Basilica, located in Vatican City, is one of the most famous landmarks in the world. It's a stunning example of Renaissance art and architecture, and it holds deep religious importance. The basilica was built on the burial site of St. Peter, one of Jesus Christ's apostles and the first pope, making it a sacred place in Christianity. Back in the late 15th and early 16th centuries, the original St. Peter's Basilica was falling apart and needed to be replaced. This kicked off the construction of the new basilica, which took over 100 years to complete. Some of the most talented architects and artists of that time worked on it, including Michelangelo, who designed the famous dome. The dome is a masterpiece on its own, with its double shell structure and a lantern at the very top. Inside the basilica, the vast space is filled with beautiful chapels and altars, with the altar of the chair of St. Peter standing out as a central feature. Surrounding this altar is an intricate bronze canopy, or baldachin, created by Bernini, another master artist of the Renaissance. So what do you think? Are these discoveries just natural phenomena, or could they be evidence of something more? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into the mysteries of Antarctica, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.